All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 173 with Asterix. Asterix, how are we doing today?
Absolutely amazing, man. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. Just trying to get out there, and I'm fucking. I already scuffed it up. Okay, let me run this
It's
back. Let me run
over.
this back.
It's over.
It's over. It's over.
It is over, man. There's no second tries, man. It's
No,
over.
no, no. Oh man, the last dude when I was on the based pod, like I scuffed it. So I was so nervous to go onto the based after dark
Bro, they
podcast.
they mess me up so bad. I go on there
Oh
like
my
the,
god.
the the ending I did on my last episode was so embarrassing. I don't even know what I said. I said like something like hope you all had a pleasure or something. And that's literally the end of it. Like, luckily nobody watches podcasts all the way through, but it's just like, and they fucking keep it. Like, there's no retakes there. So,
No,
no
yeah.
retakes here either,
Oh, fair enough.
unless I mess up. There's actually several guests where, I've messed up the intro. Either like, actually it's really embarrassingly, I think when I had Mod Husky on, I
Oh.
literally called him Mod Arcane, like in the
Oh
introduction,
no.
and I left it because back then I didn't edit. I literally just
Oh.
fucking just sent the whole thing. It was so embarrassing. I
Oh
actually
my
I
god.
genuinely felt so bad because I felt like Mod Husky saw it as like me doing it on purpose or something like that. Again, this is just
Like
like
some
my
slight, yeah.
yeah, like my neurotic self is like projecting it onto him. Like he
Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
thinks I fucking hate him or something.
No,
Just like
no.
no, just straight up, just a complete accident. But yeah,
I mean, live by the pod sword, die by the pod sword. Anything that, yeah, like it's all content when it starts rolling. Jesus,
yeah,
I,
yeah.
oh man,
No,
no, I joined the base pod. I was instantly just mewing and looks maxing on the camera with them. I was, oh, like I cannot stand to open that video and look back at it now. I
dude.
claw my skin off.
Bro, okay, so listen, I've been doing these. Obviously, you're episode 173. The amount of nights I've had, I've literally had to learn how to meditate simply because of I will keep myself up all fucking night thinking of past episodes
Oh
of my cast.
no.
Like seriously, like I've been doing this for almost 600 hours, and there are like stark moments throughout these years where it has been so goddamn embarrassing, like what I said or like the moment. I'm just saying stuff that's so stupid, and then
Yeah, like
I'll replay it in my mind just all night, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I need to unpublish that episode, basically. Like I will literally eat myself alive at night because of it.
I mean, I think that's perfectly human because, like, if it's anything that you care about, not just podcast stuff, but like, I feel just as humans, like anything that you're at least invested in, or you actually really, you want it to go good, right?
Uh-huh.
Like when something goes astray and you feel like it's just clearly a user error, like you just said something wrong or you messed something up, it haunts you. Like there are things I remember from way back in high school, like I'll just be paralyzed in the middle of the night. It's like an ancient shadow curse takes over my body. It's awful.
It's always at night too. There's the fucking
Hmm.
whenever the sun's down, man. Just shit. Like you need to just. It's a good thing we go to sleep at night. Like
Yeah.
that's what people are supposed to do. I mean, I know it's night for you. You're probably gonna be up for several more hours, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Humans are just that way, and the times I think because I want to be proud of my podcast. I understand as well. It's just me talking to people that are playing old school or just like a part of the community. So
Yeah.
it's not like a huge deal. It's not like I'm talking to like intellectuals or doctors or anything. It's just like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had to just learn to just let it be. Basically, like I'll say stupid stuff and just it's
Yeah, I
there.
mean, like we're talking about medieval clicking game,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah,
it is what
right.
it is.
I know I have to put myself into like the bigger perspective. So let's talk a little bit about you. So many people probably don't know who you are unless they
Oh
follow
yeah,
Based After Dark or they follow Behemoth, and they've probably seen you on some episodes. But let's just go over like a brief history of the brief lore, I should say, of who you are.
yeah. So it started about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I got hired by Behemoth. Not like the conglomerate of the channel that it's known as now after the merger with Based After Dark, but like the man himself, the Australian legend. I was hired by him to start editing some of the videos for his channel because I saw that he put out like a little advertisement in a creator Discord that I just happened to be part of from the art side of things because I was just making like little fan stuff and like Blender renders, stuff like that. And eventually, yada yada yada. A bunch of stuff's transpired between then and now, but I ended up securing a kind of like a freelance video editor position, where this is kind of my full-time gig now, where I edit full-time. Every single daily Behemoth video is edited by me and uploaded by me. We have a thumbnail guy, the Scald, who's amazing, who does all of our thumbnails. We have a whole like optimized workflow for it now. And in my spare time in the afternoons, I like to work out and I do videos for other YouTube creators. So yeah, that's kind of who I am. For those who don't know, kind of the face behind the, or excuse me, the guy with no face behind the scenes for a lot of the faceless guy. Exactly. I'm just kind of behind the scenes for a lot of RuneScape creators. I'm just trying to expand and get out there. I recently appeared on the Based After Dark podcast, where I had a like an informal interview kind of episode, which was great fun. And now I'm here on the Sae Bae cast. So hell yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, and I'll actually have that episode linked of you on Based After Dark, because I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, and I think you appeared like halfway through it or something, if I recall correctly. Is that right? Or were you on it the whole time?
It was a bit scuffed. I kind of spawned like halfway through. They just pulled me into the cool kids club of the Discord server that I didn't have access to, you bastards. But no, it was fun. By the time I got pulled in, I was like probably 3 or 4 vodka crans in, probably 3 or 4 zins in. I was a little socially warmed up, so to speak. But yeah,
no, it was cool seeing you. And I've obviously, if anybody watches the daily Behemoth videos, they've seen, how many episodes have you been one face camming?
I'm pretty sure now I've hosted 3 or 4 full length episodes of just me being the guy on face cam, just reading the stuff from the script and kind of doing stuff like that, handling all the clips and the editing as well. By the way, just for anyone out there who might want to start doing YouTube or streaming in the future, you have to learn how to stare at yourself and edit videos and audio of yourself, and it's a weird feeling if you're not used to it. I'm sure you know all about it, but it took me a while to see myself on camera and be like, wait a minute, people are going to look at me, and I was like just tweaking out at first.
Yeah, it's even worse when you're actually just like you're staring at the go live button, because then it's like it's not like you just publish it and you just like, I'm gonna try to forget about this, and now it's like you're living it now. You're just right in front of everybody.
Yeah, so. Seriously, it's horrifying. Yeah, no, but it probably 3 or 4, I would say. I have like very informal appearances and pop-ups every now and then. I'm kind of like the throwaway guy for the Behemoth Daily channel, where like if there's a bit or a gag, or if there's patch notes or something that Tasty or Behemoth or whoever's hosting the episode, if they forgot to mention or address something, I kind of just pop on camera for 10 or 15 seconds, with usually accompanied by a little meme or a little bit, and I just kind of correct whatever's going on, and then you never see me again for the episode. But I've kind of established like a super turbo niche little cult following in the comment section, it appears. Because I don't know who it is, but there's like, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 people in the comments. And whenever I appear, they're like, yo, Asterix needs to host an episode. Like, screw Behemoth, he sucks. Tasty's bald, he sucks. I want Asterix. And like, let me get some more of this guy. There's one guy, and I first thought it was a girl. I was being hopeful. They're saying, oh, that Asterix guy sure is handsome. I inspect the profile picture. It's like some middle-aged Puerto Rican man. So it is what it is. But no, I just kind of like randomly spawn. Like I'm literally like a superior Slayer monster on the Behemoth channel. Like I just kind of appear there every now and then. Like this freak just kind of shows up. And it's really funny too, because you can tell when like someone who doesn't watch Behemoth very often, they're just like see this one video and they're like, oh, let's see what's going on with Varlamore or whatever. And like it's just like this news/community channel. And there's this bald guy's talking the whole time, and randomly this completely different guy with like no context, he's not linked in the description, he just appears and starts talking, and they're so shocked. I love it. It's so fun,
bro. One of the I don't know why this came to my mind, but I was thinking this must have been like 2 months ago or something. I clicked on what I thought was a Behemoth video, but it was just a Tasty video, and so I clicked on the thumbnail assuming like, okay, this is like my daily highlights, like let me just click it. And it's fucking Tasty just talking about like literally it took me like 3 minutes to realize it wasn't a Behemoth video. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, can we get to the fucking highlights? And I was like, damn, like now I've literally just I see Tasty now, and I just think Behemoth. Like he doesn't even have his own channel now in my head, basically.
No, I mean, like we're kind of conditioning the viewer because I edit Tasty's videos as well. So like the style of editing is like
Yeah,
it's basically
that was definitely it then. Yeah,
Yeah.
Even probably you forgot that it wasn't a Behemoth video. You're like halfway through editing. You're like, oh shit, crap, this is actually just a Tasty video. I gotta
No. When it comes to like personal channel stuff, not the Behemoth channel stuff, not to discredit any of the work that I do for the Behemoth channel, but when I'm doing daily uploads every single day, I have a strict routine that I follow. Like I should have mentioned this prior, but I don't have days off. Like I'm sure if I need to or something comes up, they call me the editing slave, like the whipping boy, but I'm really not. I can get a day off, but I don't really take days off. Today was Behemoth video number 498.
God damn.
That I've done.
You've done.
Yeah,
in a row.
In a row. I took one day off.
Dear God.
Yeah, so I'm out here hustling. I'm out in Gillinor in the streets.
Do you go like on vacations here and just bring your laptop or something? Like, is there any way to do this portably, or has this every single one been at home?
Not every. Sometimes I've done them on laptop and stuff like that, but almost all of them have been at home. Like I said, I'm pretty big of I'm kind of like a homebody. I don't really go out too much, and like I just go to the gym and lift. And I have a pretty streamlined workflow for making these videos now, especially for the main channel. So I usually, if I want to go out or I want to do something or I want to go on a date with my girlfriend or whatever have you, I'll wake up very early. I'll talk to the guys and try to download all the Twitch clips and everything and get the news as quick as possible so I can edit early in the morning and have the video scheduled on YouTube ready to get shipped. So I can go out in the afternoon and enjoy my day without having to edit. But no, I don't really miss videos. And I think that's part of why I've had the longevity that I've had and the privileges that I've had, which I'm very thankful for in all seriousness. But yeah. Sorry.
You're able to, let me get this right. So are you ever able to make 2 videos in one day and then take a day off the next day? Or is this literally every day you must grab the clips from that day? Is there like, are you guys ever kind of just like going back a day?
That's a great question, actually. And I think that might have happened probably only once out of all of those 498 daily videos or whatever.
Wow.
Because a lot of the stuff we do is news related and it's usually pretty topical and we don't really want to follow out of relevancy. And there's other competitor channels who also do news stuff, redacted, not to be named. And so there's an element of kind of always wanting to be on the pulse of what's going on and covering the new stuff, because in a way we kind of are like a informal comedic night show, but also like a news show at the same time, or at least that's how I feel the Behemoth channel has kind of morphed into in the past year or so, where the average player can go and say, I just want to hear some funny guy show me some streamers doing dumb stuff, maybe they pull good loot, and then there's always guaranteed a 1 to 3 minute segment where it's just a quick little recap of any of the notable news in the game recently. And if there's no big like updates like Varlamore or the Coliseum or anything like that, then it's usually just like community notes, community highlights, maybe community drama, or addressing generic topics like how do we handle the botting crisis, things like that. So due to the nature of the videos being so topical and sometimes drama based, even though time and time again we've stated it's not a drama channel, I don't really have the luxury of trying to edit the next day's video in advance, especially because, with stuff like today, half of the video, we're in a little bit of an awkward place because they just announced that new group boss. I'm sure you're quite familiar with it. And so the blog wasn't out when Tasty was recording his takes for today's video. Today of recording. And so we had only half of the information. Now, this is one of those examples where I wouldn't be able to do the next day's video in advance because the blog wouldn't have come out by then. So I wouldn't have the sufficient materials for editing. So a bit of a long-winded answer, but to summarize, no, I very rarely get the opportunity and luxury of doing 2 videos in a row to save me a day.
So you've obviously been doing this for a damn long time, over a year and a half, or just, I guess, almost a year and a half. Yeah. Yeah. And just straight. And so how has like the process become streamlined for you? Like how long did this whole thing used to take? Obviously it depends on the day, I'm assuming. Yeah. Depends on like the clips and the news, but like I imagine this was, you just slowly kind of, you have like a well-oiled machine now where you can just kind of like zip through it, I imagine. So what was the process, and now how long does that process take, and what are like the steps that you take each day?
Oh shit, man. I mean, like I really just lock in. I really just lock in. But at the beginning, and this is extremely embarrassing. I touched on this in the in the base pod. But I actually studied in school, and I promise this is going to relate to exactly to how I streamlined my editing process. But I started out as a visual effects student. Actually, I was studying CGI, and I was trying to apply for jobs at visual effects studios. The problem is, this is around when the whole COVID thing was happening, and so I didn't really have great success. So during that point in time, I was looking for jobs. I ended up working this crappy overnight job in some warehouse, just hauling boxes, completely unrelated to video editing, which was my passion and profession, or at least aspiring profession. And so when I originally started working for Behemoth, my productivity on the videos was awful. I mean, straight awful. Like, it's one thing to have to learn how to, what's this formula? Every YouTuber's different, How do they like to present their videos? How do they like their music mix? This and that. What kind of style do they like? But aside from that, I was editing these videos in Adobe After Effects, which for anyone out there who knows anything about video editing, that's blasphemous. It doesn't make any sense.
Explain to me. I'm okay. Even though I am a YouTuber, I'm just like the most bare bones editing. So what is like the good stuff, and why is that so bad?
So After Effects it's a pretty good software, and there's only a few alternatives for it out there, but I'm very comfortable with it. And so when I was studying visual effects, I would use a whole lot of 3D imaging software such as Maya, Blender, Houdini for particle simulations, Unreal Engine, a bunch of stuff like that for like 3D CGI. But for a lot of compositing and color grading and basically putting all the renders together and making them look pretty, like doing green screen work, etc., you would use either After Effects or a software called Nuke, which is like a professional compositing software for films. And I was too broke to afford Nuke at the time, and my school license had run out, and I wasn't going to do, any other options. So the only software I was super proficient in at that time was After Effects. Now, I was taught professionally how to use Premiere, but I hadn't used it in a while, and it didn't dawn on me I should be using that. So I looked at all of Behemoth's prior videos when I got hired, and I realized, wow, I am certain I can edit these videos nicer and have better effects, better transitions, and make it look really, really good. I can really elevate this and take it a step higher. But the problem is, I was so rusty after spending the last 2 or 3 years slaving away learning CGI that I had basically forgotten how to use Premiere. And I didn't feel, I wasn't kind of in a good headspace to try to do these videos and learn a new software, well, an old software at the same time. So I was doing them in After Effects, which is mainly used, like I said, for compositing and animation, as well as, visual effects. So it was very laggy. It would stutter all the time on just random Twitch clips when you're playing them back. To do simple things like certain types of ripple cuts, and mixing audio, it was just really clunky and not great. I had to pay money and install third-party plugins just to get some of the functionality that Premiere had built in, which, foolishly looking back, like, what a mistake. But on the bright side, I could do some pretty cool effects. Like if there was a PK clip, I was making a whole ass montage. I was going crazy. I was really over editing a lot of this stuff. But the thing is, these videos would take me about 4 to 6 hours to create. Which wasn't very lucrative. You have to realize I'm being paid, and to this day, for a lot of these projects, I get paid per project, not per hour or anything like that. So me taking longer on a video when this is my job and livelihood is not good, especially because me taking longer doesn't mean I get paid anymore. Like, for example, if it's an hourly wage job. And so I quickly, after about 2 months of doing this and being like, this ain't it, chief, like this really ain't it, chief. I decided to get back into Premiere, get a couple of third-party plugins, and really get familiar with it again. And man, it was a lifesaver. It really was. The time shot down from 4 to 6 hours to 3. And then in the last year, by making a template project file where I have all of my folders like labeled, I have certain plugins preloaded, I have the audio levels already with a hard limiter on -8 decibels. I have everything already set up the way that I like it for the videos, just so I can drag the clips in, drag the POV in, and everything's ready to go. I have my lower thirds and streamer icons and stuff ready. Now I get the time down to anywhere from, on an amazing day where I'm just locked in, no distractions, and it's a very brisk amount of work, maybe 1.5 hours to the average 2.5. So we really got the time down for the Behemoth videos, and it allows me to maintain these daily videos and still have time for other client work in the afternoon or going to the gym or what have you, right?
That is sick. Yeah, like so 2 hours pretty much average, if I mean, assuming.
Yeah, average every day I'm spending about 2 hours after I wake up and get home from the gym on a Behemoth video.
How daunting was it to learn that new program? Like I have like a few examples in my mind where I was like, so when I was in high school, I used to mess around with like music creation apps. I remember there was this there was this music creation app called Music Studio.
My god.
This is back in like 2000 fucking like 10 or 2009 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was state of the art for an iPod at that point, like an iPod Touch.
I think I remember it actually.
Did you?
I think I know what you're talking about.
It was $15 on the App Store, and
I would dabble with
no way
DAWs and stuff. I used to make beats in FL Studio, and yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So I made my own like SoundCloud beats and stuff, and I became obsessed with it. But the thing is I realized, obviously shortly into just messing around, I was a kid, I was like 16 or something, just like, okay, this doesn't have like much functionality at all, and this is like sort of painful, so I'm eventually gonna have to like step up my game and get some like better sounds and just like learn something new. So I got Ableton Live.
Oh hell yeah.
Bro, that shit, I gave up because it was so fucking daunting, and I was obviously like busy with school and stuff, and just like dude, honestly, like I couldn't even, like I wasn't like really looking up any. I think you had to like pay for a tutorial, and I wasn't willing to fucking pay for a tutorial.
I recall like a lot of those audio workstation softwares back in the at least like 2010 to 2015. They had this huge like weird paywall for like PDF tutorials and like private lessons and stuff.
It was so ridiculous, and I'm like, it was horrible. So I'm just wondering what your experience was like learning a brand new editing software. Was it as bad as you had thought, or were you just kind of like walked in, you're like, I have to do this?
Well, I mean, I should have been a bit more clear about this earlier, but just to specify, I was formally taught in college like how to use Premiere and stuff like that. I just kind of fell out of it out of 3 years or so of just not having to touch it at all. I was attempting my best to be a student and learn how to do nice visual effects, animation and stuff like that. And so I didn't really have need for basic video editing stuff. It was almost like a rudimentary, like I would look down on it, which looking back, that was an elitist view I should have never had, because I've been humbled. Boy, I have been humbled. But to answer your question, it wasn't that bad. When I was 14, something just kind of clicked in my brain, and I was like, you know what? Instead of being a rat goblin, I saw these, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, but there was a meme craze on YouTube around 2014-ish. I'm 24 now. I was born in 2000, so when 2014, I was 14, and I remember there was like this MLG meme montage trope going around with all these hit markers and these air horns and like Mountain Dew Dorito. Like it was like this super cringe loud meme trend. It was very in your face, and I thought it was the funniest shit ever. So I downloaded, or not even downloaded anything. I opened Windows Movie Maker and I downloaded a green screen hit marker overlay with the "Mom, get the camera" sound effect, and I put it over my friend's Modern Warfare 2 camcorder recording of his TV, and then I thought I was cooking. And then ever since then, I had this autistic little spark in the back of my mind that said, okay, but what if I can do it better? What if I can remove the Bandicam watermark? you know,
bro.
like
Windows. Okay, so my dad used to make a bunch of home videos, and we used to. My siblings and I would make home videos as kids, and we always used Windows Movie Maker. So when
dude, it was legit.
yeah, it was just amazing at the time, and I thought I was a fucking professional. And
Yeah.
I'd go in there and I would just use every fucking effect, on every single video. So
Of
just
course.
go through every single goddamn one. So it's just like
Yep.
it's just watching a fucking circus. Just
Yeah, no visual consistency. 1 second there's a blue strobe, the next it's a lens flare. Dog, I'm fucking James Cameron.
then there was the fucking what are they called? Audio marks, like watermarks in the audio. What's that called?
Oh, it's like an audio tag almost.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we have these like default songs. I remember there was one, it was called like Fight Song or something like that. Just like some more like aggressive thing. And in the background, every fucking 8 seconds, it would say, kill the silence. Like this guy would just say, kill the silence because it was a watermark like in the fucking thing. So I would literally go in there and every 8 seconds, I would just clip it out. I would clip that guy saying it out. So it sounded like this repeated loop that was off sync and everything. It was literally piercing to your ears. It was so bad. And now, and like if you look back at like super, super old YouTube videos, I literally get such a nostalgia hit when I see people using those same effects in any way. If I see one effect, it's just like instantly I'm back home and I'm 8 years old again. I'm like, wow, like damn.
It's beautiful. It's like seeing that ancient Microsoft PowerPoint like transition.
Yep.
It's like my neuron activated.
Yeah. It's like the like super sort of like psychedelic like screensavers and stuff. It's just like way back. You see those.
All of
like,
the Y2K like video editing effects and transitions are just beautiful, man.
I know.
Like I love it. But the cool thing is actually like a lot of the super minimalist ones, they still like hold up in like actual professional film today. Like people still use cross dissolves and stuff like that, and different types of fade ins, fade outs. Like those never died out, So that's cool. The staples are always around.
Yeah.
But shit, what was I saying? Oh yeah. How I found the difficulty of relearning old software and stuff like that. So okay, like I said. So I was a little goblin, 14-year-old. I thought these cringe MLG montage parody videos with all these effects were super funny. I thought they were all the rage. I started teaching myself editing, and this turned into a borderline obsessive compulsive hobby of mine where I would stay up way past when I should have been for school into the late hours of the night looking up horrible 360p YouTube tutorials for hours on end, and may or may not be obtaining software through interesting means. And I eventually ended up self-teaching myself primitive video editing. And this later blossomed in the 15, 16, and 17, year old age of my life into COD montage making, which oh boy, I could give you oh my god, like a biography on that. Like I had a whole lore dump with COD montage making because laugh as you want, and as cringe as it may be now looking back, I actually learned a shit ton about visual effects, about codecs, about resolutions, frame rates. I learned all sorts of stuff about how to record clips, how to sync clips to music, how to apply visual effects with them looking garbage. I used to enter little amateur editing competitions on stream where these guys on Twitch would drop a bunch of private exclusive clips, give everyone 2 hours, and then all the editors in the chat would give the YouTube links back of what they made in that 2 hour span, and then the winner would get paid out money on PayPal. Like I used to do all these little editing tournaments. I was super into like, this sounds insanely cringe, but competitive editing. Like I really liked just learning, pushing the boundaries. Like every single day I would just be like, all right, am I either working on the old edit from last week or am I making a new edit? How about making AMV? How about doing this? How about doing that? And I just got super into it. And then by the time I finished high school, my parents were like, James, like, or Asterisk, my bad, doxing myself. Asterisk. You can leave that in, but like, Asterisk, like, what are you going to do? Like, do you have any aspirations at all? I'm like, let me go to the video production program. Let me learn how to do photography and video. And then after that, I'm like, oh shit, I graduated with honors and I felt more qualified than the professor. And he asked me like, how do you learn all this? I was like, editing COD montages, bro. Like, you didn't do that? Like,
wild.
Like that's crazy. And then I went to visual effects program as a post-secondary, and I graduated with honors again. And this time I didn't know more than my professors, but like half the shit that they taught me, like I swear to God, I learned that like trying to learn Blender, like it's not that crazy. So it kind of came naturally to me. Like, I feel like if anyone's devoted enough to anything, with the amount of online resources, tutorials and stuff that's just available to you, YouTube, Reddit, GitHub, if you're into coding or anything like that, like, you can really just cook anything you want. You just have to have the passion and the motivation to not give up when you hit that daunting period where it's too much. Like for you, for example, with Ableton, when you opened it up and you started trying to, cook up some heat, some bangers.
Yep.
And you're like, holy shit, what is this user interface? Right? Like, this isn't at all what I'm used to. Where are my drum loops? You know?
Yeah, literally.
Like I have to know about MIDI sequencing. You're like, when that happens, you have to push through. Find one thing that you can do, or one thing you really want to do. Like, let's say you really want to make like a house dance song or something like that. Find a YouTube tutorial or find whatever research you can. And even if you can't recreate it, try your very best to follow the few basic steps. And if that doesn't work, look in the comments. Maybe someone has a solution. Maybe someone else did this. Surround yourself with, like-minded individuals. Maybe start asking around, or if there's anyone at your work or anyone who who likes to make music, maybe ask them about it. And if you really care enough, like, you can teach yourself anything. I'm a big believer that I learned way more by myself in those core days of my life when I was just trying to make edits and random little stuff, not even to show anyone, just to post to like 10 subs on YouTube or show my friends or my neighbors or whatever. I learned way more there when I had the drive, the passion, and the motivation, where I was just being a freak until 3 a.m. than I ever did in any constructed school program or anything like that. So you just have to have the grind and use your resources.
Yeah, no, literally. Amen to that. Did you like have a YouTube channel back then?
Oh, yeah. It's still the same goddamn channel I have right now. I just unlisted all those videos because there's about 400 videos unlisted on my channel right now of varying success, from 0 views to 20,000 views, and they're all in the bin. No one will ever see them ever again. Some of them have been re-uploaded on archive sites for the COD community, actually, which is crazy.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Why'd you unlist them? Just embarrassment, or like what? Like, just
it's a bit of both. As soon as I started appearing on the videos, I realized, like, when I'd leave a comment, like, it freaked me out. It really did, because someone clicked on my profile, and after I appeared in my first video, I got a notification, and someone commented on one of my COD edits saying, "What the hell? This is the Behemoth editor guy?" And I was like, "Oh shit!"
I see.
And so I'm like, you know what? Let me just wipe the slate clean. I talked to the Scald, the guy who does our thumbnails. I paid him for like a new banner and everything. I rebranded everything, new whole coat of paint on the whole social media, because I was thinking, like, what if I start making my own content? Like, am I just gonna have these ancient COD montages and like 10-year-old upload just sitting there? Like, it would be kind of cool, yeah. But also, like, if I want to be more professionally oriented and kind of present myself in a more mature sense and just be like, you're here for, like, I don't know, like RuneScape videos or editing videos or whatever type of content I might be releasing, stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
It should be cohesive and it should be coherent. And some people are okay just uploading whatever the hell they feel like, even with no correlation. But I prefer to have a channel where people understand what I'm going to make. And I'm not to box myself into a corner, but like, you can generally expect what type of content I'm going to be producing, right? So I just got rid of all the old shit.
Yeah, that's fair. I've like, honestly, I don't know. Again, kind of going back to what we were saying at the very beginning of the podcast, this is kind of like the embarrassing things and stuff keeping me up at night. Like, it would almost be cool to like lock certain things away and just say, okay, I'm just gonna like box this up. It's all private. Maybe it'll be like a Patreon exclusive or something. But I just want this to not be publicly shown anymore. But I'm not at that point right now. But I imagine, years down the line, if I start becoming a little bit more like professional with my content, or trying to spice something up and doing something different, I don't know. I feel like old rambles, especially, like, dear God, like some of those are just painful. Like, it's just when it comes to streaming and stuff. And I wonder, because you edit for like how many people now? Behemoth, obviously the big one, but like do you have a number?
It alternates. It really alternates. I would say on average at any given month, of course I'm always editing for the Behemoth channel. But I fluctuate between, I would say, 2 to 4 other YouTubers. Some of them I've been editing for a while with no real aspirations or reasons to change or stop working for them. I.e. Tasty, for example, because I just really like making videos with him. He's very agreeable, and I think I do a good job executing his type of comedy almost in his videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like second nature because we don't have to go over anything really when I do videos with him, for example, like from Behemoth. Like it's just like the way he records is basically the same. So it's pretty easy to transition my Behemoth brain to the tasty brain because I'm already looking at him all day, right? You know, but the other YouTubers kind of fluctuate in and out. Either I find someone who is a bit of a finicky topic, being a freelancer basically, but I either find someone who's paying more, or they're sufficiently happy with what I've been doing and they want to move on to a different type of content, or some of them start streaming more, or some of them burn out from the game. Because what you should realize that I really haven't mentioned whatsoever during this podcast was that a lot of the people that I do video editing for, I don't approach them. Oftentimes they'll DM me or they'll approach me, and they'll be very, very small creators. We're talking anywhere from 20 to 100 subscribers sometimes, and they'd be looking just like, "Hey, I'm a big fan. I watched the Behemoth videos. I realized you're the editor. Like, what would be your rates or your prices? I have a Ultimate Iron Man series, for example, or a Hardcore Iron Man series, or I do PvP content. Like I was wondering if you could edit like a video a week for me or something," and then we discuss and stuff like that. And if it's a dry period for me, where some of the other larger creators that I'm already, kind of obliged to, if I don't have anything on my schedule for them, or maybe they're streaming, or maybe they're taking time off, and I can fit it in, I take on work from smaller creators, and it's good for them because they get their videos made fairly decently, if I say so myself. But at the same time, I also get to expand my portfolio of work because every type of YouTuber has a different style. They have a different type of delivery. Some are serious. I've edited guides and informational videos and tutorials for some YouTubers, but I've also edited, Hardcore Iron Man episodic series and stuff like that, or more narrative-driven content. So it broadens my horizons as a video editor and gets me comfortable with a wide variety of people and how to interact with them, and also different price ranges for content and different styles. So due to that, I don't have a fixed amount of people that I work with. To answer your previous question, it really just fluctuates based on any given month.
Interesting. Yeah, well, actually, kind of now I've just got like a separate tangent I have now, which will kind of relate to the original question I was going to ask. But basically, like when you're working with these different sort of series and stuff, like is there some content you just actually don't enjoy editing as much as others? Like I'm imagining Behemoth I don't know. Like, is there stuff that's just inherently like more boring, and it almost feels like it's hard to show off your talent in a way? Like almost like the content itself is hard for you to like. I don't know.
No, totally. No, I 100% get what you mean. And by the way, just cut me off if I ever start rambling too much, because
bro,
boy.
this is a Sae Bae cast. Like I don't. Shit! You just ramble all day. You're good.
We out here on the ramble cast. Let's get it. Yeah. No. Behemoth, mainly. I enjoy editing Behemoth. I like my job. I'm very privileged to be able to do what I do. And it very well could have been any other editor with reasonable experience comparable to mine who could have gotten the position and then kind of branched outwards from there like I did. But it's not that I don't like doing Behemoth, but one is the kind of almost mundane aspect that comes with editing something every single day. Like literally every single day. And that's no one's fault. It's not the streamer's fault. It's not the community's or the viewer's fault. It's not the host, Tasty, or Behemoth, or any of their fault. That just comes with any human working any job every single day without weekends or anything like that. Like that's just going to happen to someone. But also, I always have the most fun when I can get really creative and challenge myself making something really cool. Like maybe an intro for a YouTube series or something, and they want like a cool cinematic shot or something. I really, really enjoy that because it's new, it's fresh, and I feel like I learn and I get better. But with the Behemoth daily videos, it's always new content, and it's never going to be the same, but it's definitely a formula in terms of the presentation style. because the viewers are comfortable with a certain format of, okay, here's the introduction of topics. Here are the streamers appearing in the most notable clips within the last 24 or 48 hours of all the top streamers, as well as smaller streamers with their submissions, because we do have a lot of small streamers who just started streaming RuneScape, and they post, they submit in the Discord or they DM the Twitter account or something like, hey, like, I'm a brand new hardcore Iron Man streamer and I just got like a 5kc Tans mutagen or something like that. I love seeing those. Those are cool.
Who's the one that's vetting those? If there's so many, is that you vetting them, or is there somebody else that's giving you them?
It's usually T Papa Slice. He's the producer for the pod, and he kind of puts together and screens all of the clips. Because
so if there's any shitty clip, we just blame T Papa. Like that was his fault entirely.
Absolutely. Okay. Dog on T Papa. Hey, T Papa, if you're listening to this, no, I'm playing. T Papa's a legend. He's actually one of like the nicest guys I've ever met.
He really
he's
is.
Put up with so much.
He's fucking sweet, man.
Yeah. I mean, like, no offense whatsoever to the average viewer. This has nothing to do with you, but sometimes, man, I get multiple DMs. I'm not the producer. I have zero say in what goes into the videos. And when I put those bits in, by the way, like, I don't ask anyone. Like, I could very well be getting in trouble for that. I don't contact anyone. I just put my shit in. Miraculously, it always works out in my favor, but I digress. I get messaged some of the worst clips I've ever seen. like we got one earlier of a streamer drinking water. That's it. He was just drinking water. I think the funny part was like he kind of like gagged or choked on it for a second, but this guy was persistent. We got it in like the Twitter DM. We got it like in like DM to me. Like it was rough. But no, he does a great job screening. And if you have hatred and angst towards the selection of the clips, direct it to him with your pitchforks. Just remember, he's a human, and he's also doing the shit every day, just like I am, every single day, day in, day out. He's looking, he's organizing. And I'd say more or less for the most part, he does a good job. It's not like we ignore the comments or anything. Like, we read them. There's a lot of negativity just due to the nature of it sometimes.
Yeah.
But, I love the viewers because, like, at the end of the day, like, I was a viewer once. I've been there, and now I edit the video and put it up. So like I get it, but sometimes things just get really convoluted, and the day in day out stuff. There's also taking into account dry days where we have to upload every day, just because that's like the thing. Your daily dose of Behemoth, right? It's kind of like the channel brand. Like, we're a daily show almost, and so because of that, what happens if there's no pop-in event in RS? What happens if a lot of the streamers coincidentally took time off, or they're away at like TwitchCon or something, right? And it's like PK Randy 42 with his clan of 50 guys having like a 10 GP split each in the wildy, and that's their main content for the day. Like, it's happened before, and so I understand why some of the clips be like, why is this here? But when we're not being barraged with clips, it's PK Randy with his clan spade split. So like, I try my best to cook with scraps sometimes,
So, okay, I have literally I have just so many branching thoughts right now. I want to ask you stuff. One, because you brought up the PK thing. Do you guys have a stance on staking or gambling clips? Like, do you guys take a hard line on that, or are you just kind of like whatever if it's an old school? Like, I'm just curious what the Behemoth teams stance on that.
I'm sweating bullets. I genuinely do not think I have like the security clearance or the authority to give a definitive stance for the Behemoth team, because like I said, I mainly just assemble most of the stuff. I have creative control in terms of like how I execute things or what I cut out or what stuff I add in every now and then. But that's mainly like a Tasty and a T Papa thing. I don't really have too much of a say. At the end of the day, 99% of daily Behemoth videos, I have a list of content that's prepared for me, as well as a face cam recording, and I compile it. I apply transitions, I add little memes and effects, I add background music, and then I export it and give it to them. That's ultimately what my role in the thing is. But personally, off the record, not speaking to represent Behemoth, I think that it's not too bad as long as it's not like a literal like anything that has blatant RWT. I don't really care. I don't like a lot of the DMing clips and stuff like that. All the I don't like channels that are just here's DMing clips, DMing highlights, gambling highlights, staking highlights. Yeah. Like back when the Sand Casino was running, I'm sure you're familiar, like the old Ice Poseidon style channels. I've never been a big fan of that kind of stuff. especially just from an editor's standpoint, like a bit more of a nuanced standpoint where I have to edit the content, because there's only so many types of editing and stylistic choices you can make, where it's either the guy loses and it's sad and you have to make a funny meme zoom in on his face, haha, look, he lost $3 and now he's gonna have to sell his liver. Or on the other side of things, oh, it's neck and neck. You have your suspenseful royalty-free audio track in the background, slow zoom in. Oh, big sound effect. He got the $3. Surely he doesn't real world trade. Like, like there's two ways that I take it. He loses and I make a meme, or the guy or the girl or whatever, they win and I have to make it like this big celebratory thing. So just in terms strictly as a video editor, I find them boring to edit, because the creative freedoms that I have with the content is very limited. I don't have a lot of avenues for entertaining content with it. But like I said, just returning to give you a more formal answer, I have no authority to speak on if I support it or not for the Behemoth channel. I just put shit together.
Well, I've been in DMs with Tasty and Behemoth together. We were supposed to do a podcast, us three, like back in February or something. I don't know.
Cook.
I think when the Kick contracts kind of came out, we kind of like stopped talking and stuff. I think it was just they all kind of got busy. But
busy.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. So I'll ask the deeper questions for that. But I do want to ask about the whole transition anyway. So Behemoth obviously selling to the based peeps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But how has what all happened there? And are you? I don't know. Like I'm assuming most things didn't really change, besides probably just the whole production being a lot more formal and a lot more like set up, I would imagine. I don't know what it was like.
Dude, your first mistake is assuming it's more formal. Dude, no.
They're not formal, but just like you all have like your roles. It sounds like it's like a more well-oiled machine.
Okay.
But was it like that all the time, or just?
It was pretty consistent. Definitely the way that the files are given to me is like a little bit more different now, because before, where Behe himself would, scout for the clips, check community submissions as well as another source for looking for clips. And then he would come together, take a look at what's going on in the game, and kind of get a news headline together for the next day. Now we have, like I mentioned, T Papa as the lead producer for Behemoth. He has been delegated that responsibility, and instead of all of the pressure being on Behe to do all of that and then save face and perform in front of the camera and do the narration and everything as well, that has been split over to Tasty. So overall, there's a less of a burden for clip collection and recording on one person. It's been split to two people, usually sometimes three, but mainly two. And I, as the editor, Behemoth back in the day, he would also edit the clips himself. So it's no wonder that he wanted to offload some of that stress during the base takeover. He would get the clips, come up with the news story, gather everything, ask for permission, because everything we do, we have permission from people. We never rip anything without permission. Even if that does make for delayed videos where we have to wait for someone to respond, or sometimes we have to take something down. Like, we always have permission. First and foremost, but all that responsibility and pressure was on Behemoth, and he was, I don't know too much about his personal details, but I do have a decent grasp that it was taking a toll on his time with his family. He was working some other business as well in real life, and that's a lot for one person to do. I know just the editing portion was a lot for me. I couldn't imagine editing, recording, and gathering the clips and coming up with everything in one day. Like, it truly is like a side hustle and a half. It's a tremendous amount of work. So the only real take that I have in terms of the base takeover is that everyone is a lot cooler. It's a lot chiller, because all of those responsibilities have been split onto different people. Kind of like Behemoth himself was like it's like a blood shard, basically, and it's split into little fragments, and we're all like little echoes of Behemoth,
So it did seem like he was getting pretty stressed out toward the end. So it's actually a nice thing. Does he? Again, I'll talk to him about this, I guess, but he's still a part of it. Like, he's still kind of like, I don't think he really owns the operation or anything, but he still goes on, and it's still named Behemoth.
Oh, yeah.
So there's still
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes on every weekend for the Saturday and Sunday videos as a host, and he also does the production for that as well. So T Papa and Tasty both have more or less basically days off in a sense on the weekends. because he's gone back to gathering all the clips, coming up with stuff like that, talking to the thumbnail guy, and recording for both Saturday and Sunday. And he also has a big hand sometimes. If T-Papa or they're having, maybe he needs assistance, let me rephrase, or there's a controversial clip, or a streamer, and there's been a few in recent memory where there's some controversy, specifically on Twitter or on Reddit about a certain streamer, and we have to deliberate on whether, do we put this in the video or not. And now I'm not necessarily privy to these in the sense that I have a say, but by being in the Behemoth, in their Discord and doing these videos and DMing them and stuff and working these videos out, I kind of see a lot of their discussions going on, and I'm very thankful for that, because I've become a lot more aware, one, on how they handle their end of things, like how much work do they have to do, and I have a good respect for it now, but two, the kind of filtration system and Behemoth's role in that, because sometimes I've noticed in the past T-Papa might not be so sure on a clip, like, first of all, do we have permission for this guy? Secondly, they might have been involved in some controversy recently. Like, do you think it's a good idea to post this because we don't want to, step on too many toes, or do we send it or whatever? And he'll contact Behemoth for that. So in a good sense, Behemoth still does have like a big hand in the videos, even on the days where he's not collecting the clips and he's not appearing. He might not be doing literal work up front, but he's there. Like, he's monitoring. He's very aware. Yeah.
So, what was like the biggest sort of controversies that? Or wait, I'm not gonna. Maybe I shouldn't ask specifics.
What's the? Yeah.
Let me.
Who do you hate?
Let's just say generically, how do those go down when you guys do? In hindsight, see it as a mistake that you posted something controversial. How do you guys handle it? And now I'm imagining every time you maybe add something maybe you shouldn't have, you can kind of re-gauge like, okay, we're not going to do that in the future. But like ultimately, I feel like and I also need to add this because I feel like Tasty being the face now of Behemoth, nobody takes him too seriously. So it's almost like he can kind of get away with most things. So it's like it's so lighthearted. It's not like
he's definitely a comic. Like he never has the air or the attitude around him of like, I'm right about this, or like this is horrible or anything. He's always very neutral, and he tries as hard as he can to be unbiased with things. Even if sometimes I can tell like he's definitely siding to one thing, he's always as professional as can be in and out of the videos. And he's taken a pretty hard stance, and I've seen a message of this in the Discords before where he said things like, the last thing I want is, us after we take over the channel, it just to be nothing but streamer drama and live stream fails type content, right? Because he clearly seems to be a fan of the community nature of the channel as well. And I honestly, like, I have nothing but praise for Tasty in the way that he's been running the channel. It's really good to edit with him, and I feel like he takes a very almost like a sportscaster, but like way less competitive sense of handling the channel, where, for example, with sports, there might be two teams, and maybe the shoutcaster or whatever, maybe they're biased towards one team, and maybe their family at home's watching it and they like that one team, but during the event, like, they're going to be damn sure they're not going to make that known, and they're going to be very professional and upright. So I feel like when it comes to drama and stuff like that, Tasty just tries to be as transparent and neutral. And if anything's too risky for him to comment on it, or we don't know if something's true, or there's rumors online about someone and nothing's been confirmed, generally speaking, we don't cover it in videos. And like I said, going back, like, usually Behemoth, Tasty, and T-Papa, those are the guys who determine what we cover in the videos. I don't really have a say, but just from watching how they handle it, super big drama stuff, like, we don't really cover it. And anything that we do cover, we try to just lightly touch on it. We don't have a whole segment on it. Like, I remember back with, it was really freaky, honestly, but with the whole Defy J situation and everything that occurred with that, some people were expecting... because I saw, for example, to preface this, I saw other channels and news channels and community channels. I saw them having an entire episode where they had a thumbnail of him. They had a fairly dramatic type of clickbait headline, and the whole video was just diving deep into the situation. But when it came to us, like, we are not a drama channel. We're a community highlights and clips channel. So we're not going to have like, where's the community clips and RuneScape highlights if it's a drama video just about a certain person or any controversy or anything that's going on with any specific individual. It kind of takes away from the appeal of the channel as a whole. And even if it gives short-term success, it kind of taints the branding and the image of the channel. So I believe that may be the main reasoning why we don't really cover big headline drama stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that's smart. And it's interesting because you just mentioned like, slipping into the whole like becoming just full drama channel. I feel like that is just an inevitable like sort of snowball, especially with how, I mean, one, you guys are posting every goddamn day. And on top of that, like, so you got to like make things kind of spicy. So the thumbnail, and obviously we're competing. I mean, I say we are as just like YouTubers in general, like we're competing with a space, and every single motherfucker is, every thumbnail's got to be popping. Every single title's got to be some sort of minor clickbait that's not like egregious, but also captures your attention. So like, I don't know. Do you ever feel like, obviously you're the one making it, so I doubt you watch your own content, but like, do you ever feel like, I don't know, sometimes it's overdone or something, or almost like or do you feel like you guys have kind of striked a good balance? Like, I don't know how I'm trying to word this, but
I think I know what you're getting at. Well, the ugly truth that no one wants to talk about is that as YouTubers, just collectively as a community, when this is your livelihood, this for many people is a full-time career, that, or maybe they diverge into streaming or anything else. But at the end of the day, for a lot of folks out there, if they're a full-time YouTuber or a full-time streamer, that's their livelihood. That's their job. That's what lets them pay their rent. That's what gives them a sense of security. And so sometimes it gets to be like a rat race, right? Where you don't want to fall behind, and you want to grow the channel, and you want the subscriber count to be up, and you want the views to be up, and everyone wants to be successful. But sometimes you need to capture and grasp the attention of the masses in ways that are never, I don't think anyone lies on the Behemoth channel. But sometimes I've noticed that we have like sensationalist titles. Some people say it's clickbait. I almost always look back and watch the videos, and like, maybe 1 in 80 videos will have a title that doesn't really represent what happened in the video, where we like barely even touched on it. But for the most part, there's always at least a connection to the news segment or a big clip in the video. Like if for example, like a title is like high-ranking Iron died or something like that. Like, okay, if there's no clip of a high-ranking Iron dying, we're going to talk about it in the news. Like, it's always correlated somewhere.
Yeah.
But we have to spice it up to make it interesting, basically, because sometimes it isn't that crazy and there's nothing else going on. So we,
Are you who's on like the analytics end? Do you guys like do research? Do you guys like see what's popping?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a guy that's telling you like, okay, do more of this, or like, are you a part of that, or it's just?
It's kind of like the little cabal. It's like a little cabal of Tasty, T-Papa, and Behemoth. They're kind of like little, the analytics guys. They study that a lot more than I do. Now, I'm an editor on the Behemoth account. Like, I physically upload the videos and stuff, so I'm privy to the analytics. I'm not blind to them. I see what's going on. I see how things are performing, but I don't pay too much mind in that. As long as I fulfill my job as a video editor, I'm more or less pretty happy. And the same goes with any of my other clients. I've had clients where I edit a video for them and it does amazing. Like it's beyond their expectations. And some people notice like, oh, did you hire a different editor? Or like, this one feels more professional, like really, really good, right? And their video does a bit better. And I've also put out a new video where someone's paid and I've done a video and it didn't do as well as they expected. For, however many number of reasons, something might not have gone so well. And so I try to numb myself to the analytics of some things, because originally when I started editing the daily videos for Behemoth, sometimes I'd get kind of worked up about it. Like I would try really hard and I'd work really hard on some clips and I'd make like this really funny bit, like this really funny like meme about like this funny Bodhi clip or something like that, or maybe a hardcore died. And I actually spent an extra 40 or 50 minutes just on that one clip, trying to make it a bit more dramatic, trying to like really tune in the edits and try to make it good for the viewer. And the video tanks. And compared to other YouTubers, people just didn't find today's video very fun. Or maybe the upload was delayed, and because we uploaded at a later hour, there isn't that many viewers who watched it, or whatever the reason may be. And so when that stuff happens, it got really demotivating for me. And at the same time, I felt like I would try my best on a video and it would pop off and I'd feel great, awesome. And there would also be days where I didn't try too hard because I was in a rush. Maybe I had a family meeting or a dinner or something, and I'd kind of half-ass a video just to get it out there, and it would do amazing, and I would be confused. You know, like I tried my best, and it didn't go so well sometimes, and I don't try too hard, and it pops off. And so I didn't want to get too attached in that, so I started to distance myself. I go, okay, I don't have creative control over the content of these videos. I just assemble them to the best of my ability and try to present the content in an interesting and visually pleasing manner for the viewer and try to communicate what the streamer or the content creator wants to say. So that being said, I will only get upset if the video doesn't do well. And if it does super well, I'm not the owner of the account. So how much am I really profiting from this, from getting super hyped up over a video going well? Like, it's great to celebrate and all, but I don't know. So overall, I've distanced myself from the analytics of videos. Whether it does well or does bad, I am fairly indifferent. Of course, I want every single client's video that I work on to do well. But ultimately, at the end of the day, as long as you're happy with the work that I've done for you, and I've done my job good as a video editor, regardless of what clips you gave me, or regardless of how funny you were or whatever in the video. As long as you think I did good and you're happy with what I did, that's all I care about. So, you know, the analytics side of things, I don't have a say. It's all them.
So now here's an extension question. This is actually coming from the Twitter topics. This is Rafa D. He says, you mentioned on the Based cast, you might think about using your talents to make content of your own. Any plans? That I feel like you making all those edits, do you ever like think like, damn, like I could, be doing my own thing and kind of having that sort of, I don't know, like just knowing that you were the entire production of this whole thing and feeling like you're the creative behind it. Do you ever feel that? Like,
I get it more for starters. Like I understand how it works on a fundamental level. Like, I understand the recording process. I understand, the brainstorming for a video, script writing to an extent, and the editing and file delivery process. I understand contacting, thumbnail artists and the importance of a good title and thumbnail combination. I understand a lot of analytics from watching the Behemoth videos and other client videos. I understand why viewer retention is important. And when I appeared in some of the Behemoth videos that I had to fill in because people were sick or whatever, and I had to host, and I was on camera with my budget little setup, and people kind of, some people thought I was funny. Some people thought I was a dork and like, what the hell is this editor doing? Like, go back to editing videos, right? But some people thought I was doing all right. And that really built up a lot of my confidence when I was looking at the feedback in the comments, because I don't usually watch the Behemoth videos back too much. But when I am in a video and I appear on camera, you're damn sure I'm looking back, whether I want to admit it or not. I'm in the comments feverishly looking at 2 a.m. like, oh my god, did I say something wrong? Are they making fun of me? Do they like me?
Constantly refreshing, 2 a.m. then 3 a.m. like refreshing,
exactly.
refresh. Like, surely another message just popped up about me.
Oh, and I finish a set at the gym. I'm on my phone. Did anyone say anything bad about me?
Bro, it's just so goddamn relatable, man. Like that. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
It's weird. But I saw some comments like that, and some people were really nice. They were actually super cool. And they're like, you know what? Like, you did pretty good. You hosted this episode, and like I kind of like it. Like, you could host a show just like Behemoth, and that'd be good. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I could host a show like Behemoth. I make the videos. Like, I don't get the clips, and I'm not as funny or as personable as Tasty or Behemoth, but like, I do an okay job. Like, I wouldn't be the worst content creator out there. And so I've been thinking about it. I really have. And part of wiping all those videos off of my channel, like I had mentioned earlier in the podcast, was to kind of prepare for an eventuality of if I decided to make content, I would have a clean slate to kind of start with. And so I've been here and there investing little bits of money into, how do I get a better mic? Maybe a better webcam. Maybe I get a better backdrop for when I'm streaming, so it's not just my messy editor dungeon, like this and that. So yeah, like, I'm thinking about it.
What would you want to do? I mean, just like
shit. Ain't like, that the question?
Well, like just like stream, because you mentioned live streaming, so it wouldn't just be videos; it'd be streaming as well.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, like, I feel like I'm pretty fairly decent with talking with people most of the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, this conversation alone, we've been talking for over an hour. It's been fucking phenomenal. So I know you got what it takes, obviously. Like, yeah, like
I came in so nervous.
Yeah, no, like this straight up, like honest to God, you would fucking kill it as a streamer. Like, you just would. So,
yeah, I was thinking about that because I feel like whatever one I would succeed better at, obviously I want to shoot my shot there, but I'm very scared. I feel like I have decision paralysis because almost all of my professional skill set, almost all of it, in the last 2 to 3 years has been built up as being a faceless cog in the machine where I put together things and I edit it. And the longer I have for a project with a bigger like a more lax deadline, the harder it bangs almost always. I feel like a chef and I'm putting in seasoning and I had that shit on a low simmer for a while. Like the longer I cook, it's going to be heat. But the thing is, I lose a lot of that if I do live streaming. Yeah. All that production quality, all of the all the info on edits and stuff and the value that I bring to the viewer to make something really cool or interesting for them to watch. I feel like a lot of that might be lost if I start live streaming, and I would have to find new ways to compensate and make myself more interesting or relevant for the viewer. So to be honest, I'm not really ashamed of saying it. I have no goddamn idea. I really don't know if it'd be video or streaming or both. Maybe one to supplement the other, whatever I feel more comfortable or more successful with. But I do have plans for it in the future, and especially like kind comments like what you mentioned earlier, and seeing some of the viewers on Behemoth videos where I take over or I fill in for a sick day, and people seem to like me in front of the camera, and I know how to put the videos together. I feel like there's a reasonable possibility that I could do it and have decent success. It's just I have to take that first step, and get the ball rolling.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I feel like the old school, at least when I think about Twitch and stuff, like the old school category on Twitch it feels like there's always like openings. Like it just feels like it's never felt like it's bogged down. Like it's too hard. It's like too big of a barrier of entry to become a streamer in the old school scene. Now, if you look at any other category, Fortnite or whatever the hell, literally am just an old school Andy, so I just don't even know any other thing that's going on. But old school has always felt pretty reasonable, and especially I don't know if people already know who you are and you can. Biggest thing as well when it comes to streaming, and this is just me talking at this point. It's just rambling. This is not like anything in particular pointed at you, but it's just like what's really important when it comes to streaming is just have something that looks quality. So I'm one of those people because when I started streaming, I remember thinking how cool it would be if a big streamer just, found my channel when I was at like 2 or 3 viewers. I was like, man, I wish like somebody else would fucking find my stream, but like nobody's browsing like the tiny, like 0 viewers and higher on the category. So I made it like a point to do that myself. And so every so often I'll just go and I'll sort from, low to high viewers on the old school category. And the thing I see is like, you just need to have a presentable stream that's not lagging, that, you can actually fucking see their inventory in the corner of the screen. They have a face cam. The face cam is essential. I'm sorry. It's just essential. And then also just talk basically. Like,
like if you want to be a faceless streamer, like, okay, that's fine, but you better be damn good at what you're doing for that to really take off, because what you lose in being personable and having a face cam, like, you better give your viewers a reason to watch outside of that. So maybe you're cracked at the game, right? Or maybe something else is going on, but I entirely agree with you. Like, you have to have the core foundations down and be very serious about it if you want to get the basics done. Because I feel like a lot of people will just click off. Like, they'll simply just click off of your stream if they can't have that crucial core streamer to viewer experience and that line of communication, right? When that's not there, or they're lagging, and like maybe your message, they don't read your message for like 10 minutes, even though it's like 2 viewer chat. Like no one's going to be there. So how do you expect it to take off?
And the face cam isn't necessarily essential for everyone, but when if you're starting on Twitch and that is your way of getting exposure, you need that. Like,
Yeah.
if
No,
you're already a
I would agree.
YouTuber, if you're known in the community, that's one thing. But Jesus Christ, you cannot just come out of the woodworks with a fucking face camless stream and
Yeah.
expect to like grow. I'm sorry, it's just not how it
Yeah.
works.
You join the mass hordes of so many others, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
yeah, no, it's just essential. So, would you think of, because I don't know, like, would you just do like the basic sort of like old school series? Like, I'm assuming old school RuneScape would be your game,
Well, the thing is,
or not.
this is a bit embarrassing, but I'm not very good at PVM, and I love PvP, but I'm also not very good at PvP. Like, I'm okay. Like, I can probably I can tribrid and stuff. Like, I can do the deep ability content or risk fighting or whatever. But I'm no savant. I'm none of the top PKers you see. I don't make bills. As a matter of fact, for every 200 mil that I profit in terms of PKing, 1 month later I'll be down 300 mil. So money comes, money goes. And I'm not very good at either, but I feel like I have a very, very good history, background, and wealth of knowledge on MMO games as a whole, RuneScape included. And you see these very famous, very successful content creators. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with I believe his name's Josh Strife Hayes.
Yes,
He's like an MMO YouTuber. He doesn't really just do RuneScape content, although he's done videos with Jagex before. But he's like the MMO kind of guy. And I feel like I wouldn't want to pigeonhole myself into just making RuneScape content if I wasn't as good at the game as other people, or I wasn't as good at PvP as other people, for example. I might be entertaining and funny, and I can sing the song and dance the dance. But ultimately, I also want to have some substance, just that extra factor of where I feel like I'm very confident with what I'm saying, rather than constant incoherent ramblings. Like, the Sae Bae cast as a whole is proof that ramblings, no matter how long or how incoherent, can succeed, right? But
true.
sometimes I want to have like clear, concise, to the point content. And then when I was brainstorming, I think, well, I'm not going to really be doing these guides better than other people, because they probably know the game better than me, or they have better resources. And I'm not going to be doing PvP content because there's better PKers than me, and no one wants to watch me, go into debt on RuneScape. Like, that sucks. That's not fun. But what I can do for sure is I played a whole lot of MMOs in my life, RuneScape included. And I'm pretty good at drawing comparisons from RuneScape to other games. So now we're starting to cook,
Bro. You got to get that green screen. Listen, as much as I'm old school, like old school RuneScape focused, I have been loving Jimmy's and Idol's content. And if you could fucking just like go into that niche as well,
third
like,
Forbidden
literally.
Son.
and the best thing about watching them is they are more OSRS focused. So
yeah,
it's so relatable to me, because I'm now learning about MMOs because I trust their relative expertise in old school. Because if somebody just plays a shit ton of World of Warcraft and then they're talking about RuneScape, I'm like, bro, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about when you're talking about old school. I need somebody that had been their dedicated game, old school. So
yeah,
if you join that, dude, I'd be watching your content all day. So just saying that.
Okay, yeah, I might have to write these notes down sometime.
Yeah,
Jeez, yeah, I got some
write
ideas.
it down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Because I played a shit ton of RuneScape. I've never been the best or anything like that, but I would say I have a very good, slightly above average understanding of the game. And I've also played a shit ton of other MMOs. There's a recurring theme here, as you can see, actually, with my past life. I probably lost a few years just to MMOs alone. But there's definitely some space for me to cook there in terms of new content. That's for sure.
So what is your? I mean, you obviously said a little bit. You said you suck at PVM or something, or not that good at PVM. First of all, all I'm gonna say is I feel like we live in an era now where everyone has to say they suck at PVM, because all we're surrounded by is fucking Port Khazard and noob type doing just some fucking just stupid stuff.
Oh, there's some real freaks. Yeah,
like I literally have to say I'm shit at PVM. Like I remember thinking I was relatively good a few years back.
You are much better at PVM than I am.
No, but I have to say I'm dog shit now, because I actually think I'm dog shit, because all I watch now are gods at the game.
That has to be selection bias, right? Like that has to be the same thing with fitness, where like I'll watch like a Trend Twins video and be like, damn, I'm so skinny. Like,
bro, don't even get me started with that shit. Like I will literally I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, I'm like the biggest I've ever been, which is, just in comparison to myself. I'll feel great. And then I'll go out for a fucking walk, and there's just a guy that's like 6 inches taller than me, like at least 100 pounds on me. And I'm like, I'm a fucking child. Like, I'm a literal kid. Like, this is so embarrassing. Like, everything I put, all the work I put in just for nothing. Like, this guy just took everything from me, just walking past him.
Hey, man. I mean, progress is relative. So, like, with stuff like that, I just try to always keep myself motivated by thinking, like, remember where I was.
Yes.
You know?
That's important.
Remember where I was.
No, and so, yeah, but, so anyway, going back, and you said like you like PBM. Yeah, and you said you like PvP. Like, what do you do in old school right now? Like, do you play an Iron Man? Do you play a main account? Like, do you play often? Like, what's your
I got 2 accounts. I'll be honest. I used to, when I first started doing the Behemoth videos and stuff, I was pretty addicted to RuneScape. Like, I really played a lot. I really, really liked it, and I still enjoyed the game. And by no means have I quit or anything like that. Because you know the saying, like, you just take breaks. You never really quit RuneScape. But I don't have too much time, and I spend an ungodly amount of hours staring at RuneScape content editing for my job. And so sometimes when I'm done work, I don't want to sit in the same work chair and play the game even more, especially if I'm tired or I have other plans, real life commitments and stuff.
Yep.
So I definitely don't play that much, but I play a group Iron Man with a couple of my buddies in real life, and it's super casual, like just random bag of 60, 70 stats, nothing crazy, super chill. And I have a main that I play, as well as a couple of ancient forgotten pures. But yeah, that's generally it. I probably play maybe, I don't know, 5 hours a week, I would say. Very, very casual. I just hop on, do some skilling, maybe do some barrows in the iron, and then if I have a couple of drinks, I'll go PKing or whatever and just chill, send it, probably lose a bond or two. It's whatever.
Yeah, no, that's I do not blame you, first off. And it is funny because, you know, the addiction of RuneScape, it's kind of like, I feel like the addiction to RuneScape, it's so easy to be addicted to RuneScape until it starts kind of becoming your life in a way. Like for me with content creation, like I remember for a year before I started content creation, I was like, bro, if this could be my life, like I would never ask for anything more. Like if I could just play RuneScape and make money from it in any way, whatever the hell that is, just like I can play as much RuneScape as I want and that's it. Like I will never ask for anything ever again. I remember like
that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's a tight gig, not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then you start like actually having that happen. You're like, oh shit, like I actually like, damn, I don't know. It's like the
well, it becomes work.
Yeah,
it becomes work.
It does. Like, god damn it, why does that have to happen? Why do we have to see it as work?
Yeah, why are you taking my golden child away from me? You know, like my beloved precious RuneScape. Now all of a sudden it's less fun because it's my job. Like, damn. But I know that's like the most first world problem possibly.
It's such a fucking first world problem. That by the way, those are the things that keep me up at night. I remember like a few episodes of me like just complaining about, you know, the streamer problems and stuff. I'm like, I need to fucking like just have a wake up. Somebody needs to slap me in the face, like just straight up, because I mean, this is all first world. This is all first world problems, like big time. Yeah,
I used to, you know, there's points in time where I didn't have too much money. I was working a fast food job, and I just like look back to what I do now compared to what I used to do then for like a fraction of the money, and I'm like, you know what? I can suck it up. Yes. I can suck it up. I can stay at home and edit funny RuneScape video. Like that's okay.
I have to remind myself of that because like I worked in some warehouses and stuff. I worked at like a Target distribution. You said you worked for like 2 or 3 years lifting boxes. Is that what you said, or something like that?
It was probably about a year. I worked an overnight job, like hauling packages for. It was like it was so weird. It was like a business logistics warehouse. So it wasn't just like mail, for example, for like normal people. It was all of the packages going to and from companies, like their stock, their inventory. And we had like, it was so cursed, man. Like, this is a little bit of a tangent, but we would have a big supplier that would mail their stuff through our warehouse. Used to have rims for like tires for cars. So like, I wasn't even like just moving little parcels. I was hauling like rims for cars and big tires and like farm equipment and shit. It sucked. It sucked, man. I'm not gonna lie. It sucked.
Yeah, the overnight stuff is just what it made me. I was already introverted. I've been introverted my whole life, but like, and then you want the introversion. So like, I literally purposely signed up for this Target distribution center job that was 3 12s because I wanted a long weekend and just 6 or 5:30 p.m. until 6 in the morning for 3 fucking days, weekends, of course. And I'm just like, why did I do that to myself? Like, I look back now because like now I'm just like super, super introverted, and I'm like, shit. Now I gotta try to get out of this. Like,
It's like, oh yeah, I'm stunted. Yeah.
it's just like the isolation I put myself in. It's like it's so much harder to climb out of, and I put myself just purposely in all these situations to make myself as introverted as humanly possible. But that's what I wanted at the time. I didn't want to I didn't want to talk to a human. I just wanted to work and then go home and play RuneScape. That's it.
That's the same mindset I was in too, funnily enough. Like I have a lot of similarities to the situation that you just described. I was like, well, back then I wasn't doing any editing work because it didn't pan out. I was really demotivated. I couldn't get a job out of college like I'd hoped for. The job market was really screwed up. So I was like, all right, I'm going to just stay up. I'm going to drink an unhealthy amount of caffeine. I don't have good nutrition. I didn't work out. I didn't do anything. I played RuneScape when I woke up at like 2 p.m. I'm going to go to this warehouse job. I'm going to come home, play RuneScape again, and then smoke weed and go to bed. And that's just all I did. And it was such a horrid, like looking back, what an unhealthy way to live, man.
So what exactly got you out of that? Because I love talking about these things. I love the glow ups of people.
Dude,
and
Behemoth.
That was literally it. Just something like a rigid routine, basically. It's something that's going to pay you.
Yeah, I was playing RuneScape and I started making just little Blender 3D renders back when the first 3D tools for exporting RuneScape models started to drop. And this is probably closer to 2 years ago. And at the time, I had the luxury of, because I didn't have to talk or really interact with many people in the warehouse, I started listening to podcasts. Fun fact, actually, I think I do remember, like in the shadow cursed era, the forbidden time in the warehouse, I think I listened to some of your original like Sae Bae cast.
Oh god! So now it just has this tainted like essence.
No.
I feel like
I've come
days.
Full
Oh
circle.
shit!
Okay. I mean, it was a bad time, but it's okay. We made it out. And eventually, so I saw that in a creator Discord, which I was only invited to, but may I remind you, because I started posting random renders on Reddit, just like on the 07 sub, just like here's a 3D render of me and my buddy at Ogres, just like on our games, or just like little random fan art. Nothing professional. And because of that, via extension, I was invited to a artist Discord. And in this artist Discord, there is a commissions board where content creators and streamers would at the commissions board and ask for what they needed and to see if anyone was there. And luckily enough, I'll never forget it for as long as I live. I kid you not. I was dreading going to my shift. I didn't want to. My stomach was hurting and I was on the toilet. And I saw Behemoth, which I didn't even watch very much, only every now and then, had posted a thing saying, I'm looking for a video editor for 1 to 3 videos a week. DM me. And I just shot him a message on my phone on Discord thinking, this guy, he has like all these subs. Like there's no way. I think he had like 64 or 70,000. No, probably like 60,000 subs at the time. And I was like, there's no way he'll ever respond to me. Like I've never edited for a YouTuber before. And like, what am I going to show him for my portfolio? COD edits? Like that is not applicable. And so I did it. And we sorted out a deal because I was super hesitant. I was like, look, like first video, you only have to pay me half. I'll do my very best. And then hopefully you like it. And I did it. He was like, wow, you know what? Like you're actually kind of like decent at this. Like in a couple of videos, yeah, we'll have to sort out some things. Like maybe do this a bit different, do that. That's normal, right? And I went from eventually 1 to 3 videos a week. And when I realized I started getting paid from it, I was like, oh shit, this is sick. And he's like, you know what? Like I'm really getting stressed out doing all these videos. It'd be cool if you could just take the editing off of my hands. If you wanted, like you could do the weekend videos as well. And so I started doing those. But then I was really fatigued because I'm working this warehouse. Then I come home and I have to do, because of time zones, I come home after my overnight shift and I have to edit the Behemoth video. I can't go to bed. So I was sleep deprived after an overnight warehouse shift, editing Behemoth videos in After Effects like a goblin. And then I would do that, and I eventually realized, wait a minute, I'm starting to get more money from these Behemoth videos than my part-time overnight warehouse job. And so I said, screw it. If you can guarantee that I can do these videos 7 days a week, I'm just going to quit my warehouse job because it's just some random part-time job. I'm not going to get promoted. It was already pretty competitive in there. And he said, all right, sure. And so I refined it and I tried my very best to get the videos done quicker and try to genuinely learn and get competent with it. And we formed a decent partnership. And ever since then, that's when I started doing the full-time videos. I just quit the job and said, screw it.
So what brought back? Did you work out before the deep depression and then got back into it,
workout.
is that like all
Oh
new to
no,
you recently?
Typical male archetype. Broke up with a significant other at the time. Spiral into maddening depression. Hit the gym. All better. Mental fix instantly. Instantaneous mental fix. It's miraculous how it worked. I said, "Oh man, I'm gonna lift heavy weight." I lifted heavy weight. Oh shit. I feel good. I'm confident. I look better. I'm healthier. I sleep better. I started eating better. Started learning about macros. Started taking supplements. I'm like, okay, now we're kind of cooking. And then ever since then, my life has just been like way better. It just took me being I was very hesitant for change, like a lot of shy introverted guys are. Like big changes, changing where you move, changing your job. Like if it can be avoided, a lot of guys will procrastinate and avoid. I've noticed that. But when you're forced into change, uncomfortable change, I've noticed that's where a lot of men specifically thrive, whether they like it or not. And I didn't like it, but I was forced into changing my living circumstances. I was forced into changing how my whole kind of life operated, top to bottom, while maintaining the Behemoth videos. And through that, I got a lot of discipline and a lot more self-respect, and realized, like, you know what, this will be really good for me. And I started working out like a fiend. And to this day, like, I'm still super, super, super into fitness. So shortly after transitioning to full-time Behemoth, I ended up getting out of a rocky bad relationship, and then ended up just going ham in the gym.
That's fucking sick, man.
Yeah.
Did you already sort of know the basics? I mean, because I feel like for people listening, like obviously we're talking to literally 99% male audience right now that are in our age bracket, 24 to like fucking 35. And
big dog.
there are like some people, because I mean I was in this position kind of in a way. Like, I feel like everyone kind of has their own like position, but there are genuinely people that have never worked out or just have never like hit weights and stuff, and they probably just see it as like it's either all or nothing. At least that's, you know, how I would imagine people are envisioning it. They're like, it's either do what I'm doing right now, smoking weed, just fucking eating junk food, whatever.
Yeah.
Or now I have to turn into like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like immediately, like hit the gym like 6 days a week, wake up at fucking 4 a.m. Like what? Can you give any advice to those people?
Fix your mental first, or else nothing else will actually happen. Doesn't matter how hard you try. If your mental's flawed and you can't get any source of discipline down, like it's not going to happen. You either need extreme motivation, or you have to have something that forces you, one or the other. Because you just need that discipline. You need to actually want it. And as soon as I actually wanted change, like I didn't have to worry about, oh, I'm tired, I'm so sore, I don't want to go in the gym, my tummy hurts. It was like, oh, like, okay, I don't recommend this. I do not. Formally on the record, I do not endorse or recommend this. But I kind of just got like extreme body dysmorphia. And so I was just like, oh shit, I'm so skinny. How can I be like a decent looking bodybuilder if I'm this skinny? So like my constant self-loathing of my body was like, fuck it, gotta lift. So it was never an issue of, I don't want to do the hard, uncomfortable thing. It's like, well, how am I going to look good? You know, how am I going to advance myself? I'm advancing in editing. I'm advancing in my career, but how am I going to look good? You know, if I look like this, right? You know? And so that was the fire under my ass, but on a healthy, you know, mental health kind of perspective. Now that I mellowed out with experience in the gym, I kind of realized that, you just have to want to do it. Even if you've never done it, it's not that scary. You don't have to go all in. As a matter of fact, I do not recommend any newcomer to the gym or to a sport or any type of physical exercise. I don't recommend that you go hog wild right away, because it's very unrealistic that you'll stick to it. And you want something that you can reasonably do every single day. Excuse me, not every single day, but in like a weekly routine, forgive me, like a structured routine. You want to have something implemented into your weekly schedule that you can do, and it just feels run of the mill. Like you would go to, for example, a high school or a college class, and you don't think too much about it. You might not want to go, but most of the time, like it's just another part of your week. Like you're just going to go and do it. That's how you should approach fitness at first. Because if you go thinking it's this big deal, I'm going to train as hard as I can all the time, I'm going to do a crazy PPL split. Like I watch Sam Sulek, I'm going to be huge. It's like, no, man, no. Like calm down. Start with the basics and then build up from there. And when you get comfortable, then you can start doing all the advanced stuff, or maybe get an advanced bodybuilding split, or get more into signing up for organized sports or anything athletic, right? But I don't know. I feel like I over-explained my answer.
No. You didn't. I think it was great. But what is a piece of advice you wish you could tell your earlier self when you first started getting into lifting? Like, is there something like fatal mistakes you made earlier on, like
yeah.
nutrition wise or anything?
What I would say to previous self, Asterix, it is I, swole Asterix from the future. There are 3 things you need to know, son, and you will have 0 gains if you don't have all 3 of these, no matter what, in any combination. 1, nutrition. If you don't have enough carbs, fats, and protein, no matter how hard you lift, if you're in a caloric deficit, you're not going to get gains, bro. 2, sleep. You don't get REM cycles of sleep, how are you going to grow? Growing doesn't happen in the gym. Growing happens out of the gym, big bro. You want to get those gains? Eat your food and get good sleep. And 3rd, exercise with a good range of motion. Don't ego lift, and lift hard until failure. If you don't go until failure, you can't be sure that you stimulated the muscle. And there's all sorts of conflicting documentation and stuff about should you have reps in reserve, myo reps, and all sorts of crackhead shit. But ultimately, if you're new and you want it simple, old school James, like prior self, eat good amount of protein, carbs, and fats. Stay in a caloric maintenance or caloric surplus. Get enough sleep, good quality sleep. Don't drink and do drugs before bed to get like proper sleep, and train hard. And even if you don't train every day, even if you're not lifting crazy amounts of weight, if you train hard, eat well, and sleep, gains are literally inevitable. You will get bigger. You will get stronger. You can have bad technique. You can have bad form. If you do those 3 things, very simple to get down, you will grow. That's what I would say to myself, looking back, as an enlightened lifter.
Yeah, it really is just like live and learn, because ultimately, like you have to start somewhere. So if you have no experience, like you're gonna fail a bunch. But you have to just keep going, and you have to understand as well. It's all just sustainability. It's like just find something that's sustainable, because lifting, like just living a healthy lifestyle, is literally a lifestyle. It's not just I'm gonna do this for a year and then give up. Yeah. Just like this.
That's just how you live your life.
Exactly. So I think that's like the mindset to have about it. Like find something that's sustainable. It doesn't have to. You don't have to go crazy.
Yeah. Just find sustainable ways to eat a good amount of food, sleep, and train hard. And however that looks, in any viewer or any listener, however that looks to you, if you're interested in fitness or trying to change your life around, if you don't do anything related to that and you'd like to maybe try, is just try to find any way that you can rationally fit those 3 kind of principles into your life. And that's like a good start, making sure you're eating pretty decent, sleeping, and trying to get some exercise, no matter what it is, even if it's just walking, just doing that. That's it, man.
Okay. What are your thoughts on RS Chronicles?
No shot. Oh my God. I just felt a bead of sweat drop down my forehead. I'm shaking, clamoring. Oh my God.
Yeah. But before I let you answer this, actually, I'm just going to give a little bit of a backstory, at least, of how I've perceived the 2 rival, community channels. Yeah. And to be fair, okay, I'll be fully honest with you. I don't watch every Behemoth video. I probably watch like 1 in 5, and I watch maybe like halfway through it. And there's just so much shit on my feed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's normal. You only got so much time per day. And
the RS Chronicles, I don't think I've watched an RS Chronicles and genuinely like. Are they doing it every other day? Is that how their schedule is? Is there something like that? I don't think it's every day. It's just like
I wouldn't know too much. So that's KempQ's business. Now I've had some run-ins with KempQ when he was actually looking for more editors. Not many people know this.
You should have pretended like you didn't have any affiliation with Behemoth and just start I'll edit your videos and just subliminal messaging of
leak info. Hey Behe, hey Tasty, you guys have no idea what KempQ's doing over there. Like he got the Venezuelan gold farmers. You thought they were underpaid? No. No.
Wait. Before I let you answer this. So I haven't watched RS Chronicles in several months probably at this point.
Oh yeah, me neither.
But when I had KempQ on the cast, it was a great cast, and this is when he was first starting Chronicles, and I was so fucking impressed because we were comparing their editing and just super high quality content to like original Behemoth videos that were just the thumbnails were kind of hectic, like what the hell's going on here, and just and I thought Chronicles was gonna be like the top dog. Inevitably, like they're just gonna just totally, just demolished Behemoth. And then Behemoth made some changes, realized there was some competition, and that kind of like fed into just like who's gonna be the best. And there was controversies on KempQ's end, and then there's a few controversies on Behemoth's end. But and then people had like beef with KempQ, and you could tell KempQ would get emotional about some sort of like staking stuff, and like it was clear he had biases towards certain streamers, and you'd make like,
that stuff got dirty quick, man. That stuff got real dirty.
So, anyway, so all that said, what are your thoughts on Ars Chronicles?
So back then I was but a mere editling. I was a little creature, a little goblin. I felt like I was wearing goblin mail because I wasn't too good with the Behemoth videos just yet. I had just recently gone full time. I was picking everything up, and a big part of Behemoth was learning how to talk to people in Discord, content creators, people who I felt like were bigger than me. They had an audience, and how to either sell my editing to them or how to form good business partnerships and when to refuse stuff. And he was looking for an editor at the time, and I didn't realize it was for daily videos or like very frequent videos. Otherwise, like it was never going to work out. And to be clear, I've never worked with KempQ. I had just had a run-in with him, and it was for the Ars Chronicles channel, not for his private videos. And at the time, being careful with what I disclose here, he had, I think it was 2 editors actually doing the videos. And he had a kind of a greater budget for it. As a matter of fact, I none of this is confirmed, but I don't really know how much he was profiting on those videos, considering I wonder how much he was paying those 2 editors. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For the videos, because I'm comparing, how much I'm paid and how much the Behemoth videos earn, and compared to that. But generally speaking, I don't really pay too much mind to it. Sometimes I will be alerted of RuneScape Chronicles. Where some commenters will say either, lol, this was so much better than Chronicles, or lol, you guys copied Chronicles. And then I realized, like, man, a lot of the time, because our videos are very similar, like, we will just cover the same thing. And it's no communication. We're not secretly at Behemoth talking to KempQ. Like, none of this is planned. Sometimes it's like, oh, dude, Varlamore came out. Whoa. The news channels are going to make videos about Varlamore. Who would have thunk, right? Like, it's just coincidence due to the nature of the channel being so similar. They are like a pretty big competition for Behemoth. And he was nice to me. There are like some murky waters and some drama about KempQ himself as a person. But I can say, for when he did talk to me in private, he was nice and he was polite when he talked to me in private. I have no other experiences with him outside of that. So there's no bad blood between us or anything like that. I guess aside from the softcore competition between our channels and them being very similar. But I don't really care. I'm not too fazed by it. I feel like initially, like you mentioned this earlier, like Behemoth's thumbnails were a lot more disorganized and chaotic, and KempQ's were much more professionally done, and he had like better presentation and editing and stuff. Well, back then, before I had fully taken over, 3, 4, maybe 5 videos a week for the Behemoth channel, back when it was still kind of in the 60k sub range. We're at like, I think 106k now or something like that. We've grown a lot. But it was just all Behemoth, and like he would just work his full-time job, and then he's no professional editor, he's no professional graphic design artist, but I am assuming, based off what I know from talking to KempQ, that KempQ was hiring professional graphic design artists, and 1, maybe even 2 editors at the time, I'm not sure, to edit these videos, and he would just do the voiceover, right? So we have Australian funny man who comes home from long day at work and puts together this news video versus this well-oiled content machine. Of course, his were going to come out cleaner and more professional at that point in time. And I don't know why the Behemoth channel started to kind of overtake in some instances, overtake the kind of viewership and favor of the crowd. Because I've noticed recently that sometimes in comparisons, a lot of people will say like Behemoth's way better or this and that. And I wonder if we have, just spitballing here, I kind of wonder if the Behemoth channel has the community's favor in some senses because we're open to taking a lot of viewer submissions from people who have no big crowd or big audience, like just random new streamers. People are just trying to get their foot in the door, people who really love RuneScape, and it's really cool for them because like they can show their clan mates or their friends like, hey, like that's me on that like 60,000 view 50,000 view video, like that's me being edited in there, like that's cool. And it's really cool for people, I think it's really cool. It gives them a chance to show, and some people stick around. I've seen streamers who I thought I'd never see again, just some random viewer submission, and then all of a sudden they appear a month later, and then next week they're in a clip, And then the 2 days after that, they're in a clip. And people from the Behemoth videos find their Twitch and they follow them and they get notified when they're live and they start watching. And so the community on one hand and the Behemoth videos on the other kind of go hand in hand. And it's like a symbiotic relationship. We need content for videos. And so we pull from the community. And the community wants attention on their content. So they give us clips. It's like a symbiotic growth thing. As long as we have the community, we have content. As long as the community has us, they can get their content out there really easily for free, right? And I feel like sometimes RuneScape Chronicles focuses a lot more on the news and like the patch notes or maybe some new controversy or something about the JMods and less focus on the smaller community streamers. And so that might be one of the reasons why the Behemoth channel in some senses may have taken over. But again, like I mentioned earlier, that was spitballing, you know what I mean? Like none of that's really factual. That's just what I've seen editing the videos.
Do you think that having RS Chronicles as a rival has actually done your channel better in a sense? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I just wonder because like obviously the channels are so similar. Do you think that there is like a significant overlap of people that literally watch both, like every single Behemoth video, and on top of that they also watch the RS Chronicles?
I don't think
or do they
the average viewer watches both. I think they pick and choose. I think it's like in World of Warcraft, the Horde or Alliance type deal. I also think that only a minority of RuneScape players who are very dedicated or addicted or they're super into it or they're part of the high level community, I feel like they would probably be most likely to watch both. But I feel like the average viewer, to be truthful, they don't really give a shit. They just go about YouTube as they do. Maybe they're eating, having a snack, or they came home from work or whatever. They're just like watching YouTube and they just see like a cool thumbnail title combo and they're probably subbed to both of us or one of us or whoever. It doesn't really matter. And they just kind of watch it as they go. And I guess the more they watch something, the more YouTube eventually recommends it to them. And then that just kind of becomes their thing. I don't think anyone, unless they're very pissed off with either KempQ or us, either or, I don't think they really consciously, to be truthful, go, I don't like this Chronicles guy, or I don't like Behemoth. He's annoying and Australian, this stupid idiot. Like, I don't think that's really the viewer thought process coming from someone who watches a lot of YouTube.
Bro, those guys are literally 16 years old, by the way. Like, just like you just know that all those fucking random clowns, they literally like their brains haven't developed yet.
Oh, have you heard of the legend of salmon cheese?
No. Oh god.
There's this guy, okay, like, oh, well, I mean, bold of me to assume it's a guy. I actually have no proof. But there's this user called Salmon Cheese with a string of numbers. Faceless YouTube account, no uploads, no subs. And ever since the day one based takeover, I swear to God, it's not a bot, it's a real person. Every single day, within an hour, every time of me posting the video to the Behemoth channel, Salmon Cheese leaves a comment saying, "Where is Behe when it's tasty? Where's Behe? Is Behe here? Where's Behe?" Every single time. And when Behe started doing the weekend videos again, I saw a comment. It was, "Holy shit, there's Behe." And every single day that Tasty appears, this guy just goes, "Where's Behe?" Every single time. It's like a ritual, man. It's crazy, like clockwork. So yeah, like you mentioned with like the 16-year-old commenters and stuff, like who knows what these people are doing. I don't take it too seriously.
You now cannot you cannot miss a day at this point, because if you do, like, what is he gonna do? He's gonna fucking lose his mind. Like, he just like, how do what do I do now? You know, like,
where's anyone? Where's the Behemoth channel? You know, like,
that is just. I mean, that is complete OCD at that point. Like, it has to be. And on my, like, I don't have any, like, I feel like that's really neutral, actually, just saying where be he. Nothing toxic, just where be he. Because it is interesting, because I've seen on my YouTube comment, like, I have some commenters. I actually had one guy that kind of dropped off, but for a couple years, every single video within like the first 2 minutes, he would comment something. And it's just like, damn, like, you just got like those like dedicated viewers that probably have a little bit of like, you know, autism, and just like they need to be there and they need to comment. But I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
I mean, like, something's definitely a little abnormal going on up there, but I love them, man. Bless their hearts. Like real shit. Like, that's a beautiful
man.
thing.
I know,
yeah,
it is. It's
like, I start recognizing them. Like, I honestly, I read the comments far more than I rewatch the videos I edit.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
doesn't go for Behemoth. That goes for Tasty. That goes for all the other YouTubers I've ever worked on. Like, I don't comment. Very rarely do I comment, but I'm lurking.
Dude,
I'm lurking real good.
You know, it's also beautiful, and you can't ever give individuals credit because they're anonymous. But the people, you upload a video, and within the first like 2 minutes, there's like 10 likes. Like those people that just drop a like immediately, like you guys are fucking legends. Like just
you're sick, honestly. Yeah,
like
that's what allows us to go. Like,
those are the
I'm
heroes.
Very privileged
man.
to be able to edit for YouTubers such as Behemoth, to edit for YouTubers such as Tasty, etc., and see like their audience react like that. Now, I will say. There's a lot of dickheads, man. Holy.
Yeah.
I remember my first appearance. I was looking through all the good comments. I was so happy. I was like, wow, wait, they actually like me. And some guy looked at my mustache and said, like, shave that off. You look like a pedo. And I was just like, oh.
That is just a guarantee. Like, there's something about if anybody has a fucking mustache, there's always that one fucking weirdo that has to bring up something about pedophilia. Like, what the fuck is on your mind? Can you just
mustache-related trauma, man? I don't know.
Genuinely. It happens every single time. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But do you guys ever hide people so that they get, the ghost treatment?
I can say with confidence to clear my conscience that I have the access on the Behemoth YouTube channel to like delete comments or comment as the Behemoth account, but I've never once done it. That's none of my business whatsoever. If there's someone who I think is actually a problem, like it's blatantly racist or something like that, like just that shouldn't be there and YouTube didn't pick it up, I'll either just ping one of the guys like Behemoth or Tasty, one of the big dogs, and I say like, yo, like what's going on here, or I just close it and ignore it, and one of them will eventually get to it. I don't think I can't speak for them, but I don't think they do much moderation down there anyways. Most of the people, while we have some bad takes about RuneScape for sure, most of them are pretty polite and respectful. We don't really have to like delete anything or shadow ban anyone. Like that doesn't really happen. And if you think it happened to you, you either did something horrifyingly wrong to warrant us to actually care, or you're schizo. One or the other.
I really want to see, because I've shadow banned quite a few people.
Yeah.
I'd probably say maybe like 100, maybe over the past 4 years or something.
Yeah, I mean like 4 years is a while, and I'm sure Behemoth or Tasty may have shadow banned people, and why would they tell the editor what they just did? Right? I don't know.
I just am so curious. Like, surely, I just want to know how many of them are still commenting every video and actually are unaware, because it's pretty easy to realize if you've been shadow banned. Nobody's liking your shit. Yeah, nobody's interacting. And I feel like
there has to be one. There has to be one.
There has to be
to
a few, dude.
He's like, Sater, you bastard, you absolute bastard, I hate you. Just screaming into the void. Yeah, no, it has to be up there.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, there was this one guy that thought he was shadow banned, so he just started and just nobody was liking his thing. He's like, bro, like somebody please say something if I'm shadow banned or not. And just was trolling. I just never responded to him. And somebody eventually commented. I was like, God damn it, we should have all played the game
collectively. We all should have just ignored this guy.
Literally.
I love that. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. So.
Oh my god.
What's the plan for Behemoth? Is it just like every day from here on out? Is there any plan on stopping or changing things up or not making it daily? Or is this just like your life for the next 20 years?
It's definitely not my life for the next 20 years. But I feel like the day I mention, I might not want to do this anymore. Heart attack, because they're going to realize they have to
you just mentioned it. If they watch us, which they won't, you're good.
No. Statistically speaking, like how long are we into the recording? There's no shot they listen to this. If they do, I'm horrified.
They're not listening to the Sae Bae cast. I know T Pop is a patron. There's just no. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Shout out T Papa. I popped into his stream randomly, and he was watching one of my fucking rambles on his live stream. I was like,
oh my
bro,
god,
T Papa is a genuine saint and an actual gamer that cares about just watching content. He's not all in it for just the content or the. When you become
perks.
Just the social perks. No, he loves RuneScape, man. He wants.
No, it's beautiful, dude. T Papa, you can tell he's not networking on purpose. Like he's fucking living, man. He's just there.
He's having a grand old time.
No foreseeable plans to quit Behemoth. Absolutely not. It's a privilege and an honor to be able to work with the people that I do and the other clients that I do series and stuff for. There's like a bit too many to be named. I can't just pinpoint them here and there. But it's cool. It's really fun doing work for them. Like right now, I'm doing a UIM series for Potato Hime, and like that's just fun. Like I just like editing random content for streamers here and there. But no, for now, no. We'll see in the future how creating my own content affects my schedule and availability for the videos. But they're very flexible. Like I don't take days off, not because they force me to. They're super cool. Like if I need to get time off, we always sort something out or we make it work where we can get the videos out, or Behemoth goes back to his old editing style and the viewers just think, man, Asterix really, he drank too much editing this one, something, right? But no, for the foreseeable future, I'm chilling with the squad because I've just been growing my online persona and my kind of career from it, and it's been a blessing, seriously. Like I would have never gotten on the Based cast if I didn't start appearing in videos and people started thinking I was funny. I would have never gotten on the Sae Bae cast if I didn't appear on the Based cast.
Literally.
It's like branching connections. And so for the future, I'm just going to keep up my grind, try to edit videos better, try to edit videos quicker, try to edit for more clients and stuff like that. Like a while ago, I did a Jagex recently. They've been doing this thing. You're probably quite privy to this, but Jagex have been doing this thing where they'll just like have a big content creator and they'll give them the patch notes and clips, and they'll have them create an almost like an informal news video for the patch. So I had a video I did for Old School RuneScape, like with Tasty, where Tasty was talking about the Cox changes back when that happened. And I edited that, and I got paid like via Tasty, but like by Jagex. The funding came from Jagex. And to this day, the video I edited is on the Old School RuneScape like YouTube and stuff. Like that was cracked. So like it's definitely been great for me to stick around with Behemoth. So I don't see any reason to bail or do anything else. Like maybe I'll start making content, but that's not going to interrupt Behemoth. That might just interrupt some of my other clients or anything, if that's the case.
Are you coming to RuneFest?
Oh fuck, dude! Those tickets, man, gone. No shot.
No, there's 1,000 more tickets coming.
Oh, 1,000 more. That's gonna get bought out by scalpers in 5 seconds.
No, but if you're there in the first second, you can get one. I'm just curious. Are you coming?
No, I no shot. Am I gonna be editing videos over there? And like, I have a bunch of IRL commitments and stuff. I'm very invested with.
It's expensive too. Just heading out there.
I mean, it'd be fun. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to go to RuneFest.
No, I'd fucking love to meet you. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. Maybe next RuneFest. We'll see. Maybe next RuneFest. I'd love to go, but for now, let me cook.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, no, that's it's a shame, but I'm really excited. There's two events. I'm surprised you're not going to Orlando either, are you?
No.
Shit, yeah, Orlando and then RuneFest, like that's pretty crazy. But yeah, Based, I gotta say, and I've said this before, like Based, the fact that they have kind of made a pretty big name for themselves in the old school community, and they said I just gotta give them props because not only are they like a really valuable addition to like the old school community, like one Behemoth channel, like that's a big thing. But on top of that, like the events they organize, and even at TwitchCon, they brought all the creators basically to a big Airbnb party, like organized by them. There was like 80 or 90 creators there, just organized by the Base. Like if we didn't have Base, that would have not happened. Like I wouldn't have met literally like 80% of the people that I had gotten to meet there. And so
the Base crew are absolutely cracked, like all of them respectively.
They're making
Prison Joe, everyone.
Yeah, like all the introverts like me and just like 90% of the community is just introverted. Like they are bringing some sort of social presence into the community as a whole. And I think and I don't think they're doing anything like major at RuneFest because obviously it's like across seas. But there's just whenever there's an American events, they make sure that the old school community is like a part of it. It's really fucking cool. So
yeah, well, I mean, like the outside of like the Orlando and RuneFest, after that though, if there's anything going on associated with the Base crew in America, like if I'm invited whatsoever, I'd love to show up. I would fly down. Like I live in Canada for context, by the way, but like I definitely fly down and just be like, yo, what's up? Like shit. I'm just some weird editor guy, but yeah, it'd be cool. I'd love to look down on Tasty though and see his bald head from above. That'd be so much fun. Oh my god. I see his head every single day, man. I wonder It's like from the top. Shit. I know damn well I'm taller than his ass too.
Yeah. What are you like 6'4"?
Oh no, I'm 6'7". I'm some freak.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm
What
like
the
a
fuck? Do you play basketball?
follow me. Oh god, I'm gonna rip my hair out. I've been asked that since I was a wee lad. No, I played hockey when I was a kid. I
Oh,
played
yeah,
defense.
Canadian. Okay.
Yeah. I played hockey, and then now I'm into bodybuilding.
Dude,
But...
okay, how much do you weigh?
Oh,
Okay, and let me ask, how much did you
yeah.
weigh? It's 6'5". The thing is, 6'7" to me, it's like, dude, you're gonna say your weight, it's just not even gonna compute to me because it's just.
Yeah. Well, when I was in the warehouse back in the demon days, before lifting and before full-time Behemoth, it was down bad, man. Probably like 162, 163 pounds.
Dude, that is. You were listening to the BC Guppy cast you said beforehand. Like that is so fucking like.
Very
just
similar to what he was
stories.
seeing.
Yeah. So what about
exactly?
now? Then?
I did a 7-month bulk, and then I cut for 1.5 months, and now I'm kind of main gaining, and I'm at about a 216, 217 pounds.
Jesus, man.
Feeling pretty good. I'm pretty lean, like relatively lean. Yeah.
Do you know Puggin?
Yeah, I know Puggin.
Dude, you know he's like 6'4", 6'5" or some shit, and he was like one. I want to say he was like 150 or something like that, and he shot up to like 200 pounds basically in like I think it was like 8 months or something, like similar to you. Just
yeah, that's very
I
comparable.
think he's like over 200 pounds now, and I'm just like, bro, when you're that tall, you can just put on so much weight and it looks fucking good, like just like instantly, like especially if you're skinny, just like, bro, you just eat, you're gonna look good. Like,
yeah,
goddamn.
It's truly miraculous and lucky to be able to go through the bulk rather than being forced to start with a cut, because I feel like it's a lot more demotivating to have to start with the cut.
Bro, it's so odd. It's just like I can't even imagine what it's like, because you need to be in a surplus sort of. I guess technically you can lose weight. You could be in a calorie deficit and put on muscle when you're super big. You just can't, because you have so much fucking fuel, so much fat to just fuel off of.
Yeah, everything's just being burned. It's all fuel in the fire, so you're getting your energy somehow. But I will say I'm very, very lucky that I started out being extremely underweight rather than extremely overweight, because that's a much more difficult hurdle to climb.
Totally. Well, Asterix, we're going to wrap up the podcast here. I've had an absolute pleasure talking to you today. It's been fucking great. And I honestly am really excited to see if you like start making content for yourself. And so I'll have your links down below. I'm assuming you already have a Twitch channel and everything?
Oh, yeah. I have a Twitch channel and stuff like that. I will, I'll send you all the information after this. But yeah, I had a YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, which you can find me at. They will be linked in the description of the video, I believe.
They will.
But yeah.
Yeah, so go drop them a follow, guys, for me. Asterix, any last words before we wrap up?
Sub to Behemoth.
I'll actually have the Behemoth. Okay, so what were the other links I needed? I needed the Behemoth. I needed your appearance on Base After Dark. That was it.
Yes. Behemoth Base After Dark pod
links
would be sick. Yeah. Final thoughts, closing thoughts. Thank you very much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure. I've been a fan of the podcast for a while, and it feels unreal, honestly, to be on. Shout out to Behemoth. Shout out to the Based crew. Shout out to the OG Behemoth himself, not just the channel. And shout out to the homies. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, guys. This Saturday, we're going to have Mod Ash on the cast. So, fucking big episode. And I'm really, really excited for that one. So, that just kind of came out of nowhere. But you guys are... The patrons actually got a sneak peek at it, but I'm giving you guys the extra sneak peek. But follow me on Twitter, guys, if you guys want to offer topics for the Mod Ash cast. And I'll catch you in that next one on Saturday. So, thank you guys very much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.